The kitchen was buzzing with excitement and energy. The air was filled with the sound of laughter and the clatter of baking tools. 5 enthusiastic kids were ready to bake their hearts out. Each one had a unique recipe and a big smile on their face. They had their aprons on, their ingredients prepped, and their stations set. The oven was hot and ready to go. It was time for the great bake-off. The kids put their hands together in a cheer, ready to start their baking adventure.
First up was Lily. She was making cookies, carefully shaping the dough with precision and love.
Next to her was Max, the cake master. His cake was a towering masterpiece, decorated with colorful icing and sprinkles.
Across the table was Sophia with her pie. She had a secret family recipe that she was eager to share.
Then there was Ben, the brownie boss. His brownies were rich, gooey, and smelled absolutely divine.
And last but not least, there was Emily, the cupcake queen. Her cupcakes were a rainbow of colors, each one more beautiful than the last.
This wasn't just about winning a prize or being the best baker. It was about having fun, learning new skills, and making memories together. The kids were excited to bake together, sharing tips and helping each other along the way. They couldn't wait to taste each other's creations and celebrate their hard work with a delicious feast. Lily dreamed of chewy cookies. She could almost taste the gooey chocolate chips melting in her mouth. The anticipation of that first bite made her smile. Baking was her favorite way to spend a Saturday afternoon. She carefully measured flour, sugar, and chocolate chips. Each ingredient had to be just right. Too much flour and the cookies would be dry, too little sugar and they wouldn't be sweet enough. Lily knew the importance of precision in baking.
Max wanted his cake to be light and fluffy. He had spent hours perfecting his recipe. He knew that the key was in the mixing. The batter had to be smooth and airy, with no lumps. He knew the perfect ratio of eggs and butter. Too many eggs and the cake would be too dense, too much butter and it would be greasy. Max had learned from his mistakes and now his cakes were always perfect.
Sophia loved the smell of cinnamon in her apple pie. It reminded her of holidays and family gatherings. The warm, spicy aroma filled the kitchen as she mixed the spices into the apple filling. She added a pinch of salt to enhance the flavor. It was a small touch, but it made a big difference. The salt brought out the sweetness of the apples and the richness of the spices.
Ben was a chocolate lover. He believed that there was no such thing as too much chocolate. His brownies were famous among his friends for being extra rich and fudgy. He added extra cocoa powder to make his brownies extra rich. The deep, dark chocolate flavor was irresistible. Ben's secret was to use the best quality cocoa powder he could find.
Emily wanted her cupcakes to be colorful and fun. She loved experimenting with different colors and designs. Her favorite part was adding the food coloring to the frosting and watching it transform. She used food coloring to make the frosting pop. Each cupcake was a work of art with swirls of vibrant colors. Emily's cupcakes were always the highlight of any party. Each kid had their own style and their own secret ingredient. They loved sharing their creations with each other and learning new techniques. Baking was more than just a hobby for them. It was a way to express their creativity and bring joy to others. Baking is like science. You have to be precise. Too much flour and the cookies will be dry. Not enough sugar and the cake won't be sweet.
The kids learned that every ingredient has a purpose. Flour gives structure. Sugar adds sweetness.
Eggs bind everything together.
Baking powder makes things rise.
They measured carefully using spoons and cups. They followed the recipe step by step. They were learning that baking is all about balance. Section 4, Baking Buddies, Sharing is Caring.
Even though it was a competition, we helped each other out.
Lila shared her secret for perfectly round cookies.
And Jake showed Sam how to test if his cake was done.
Sophia taught me how to make a lattice crust for my pie.
Yeah, we shared tips and tricks.
We laughed and learned together.
Baking was more fun with friends. They realized that sharing knowledge made everyone's desserts even better. Section 5, the final countdown and cleanup.
The timer went off, signaling the end of our baking adventure. The desserts were ready. We had been waiting for this moment with great anticipation.
We carefully took our creations out of the oven, making sure not to burn ourselves.
The kitchen smelled like a bakery, with the sweet aroma of freshly baked goods filling the air.
We couldn't wait to taste each other's treats. The excitement was palpable.
They arranged their desserts on the counter, making sure everything looked perfect. Cookies, cakes, pies, brownies, and cupcakes. a feast for the eyes. Each treat was a masterpiece.
We cheered for each other, celebrating our success and the fun we had together.
We learned that baking is about patience, creativity, and having fun. It was a valuable lesson for all of us.
Most importantly, they learned that the best part of baking is sharing it with friends. The joy of giving and receiving made the experience even more special.